It's a good day to have a good day. Hello, everybody. My name's Cece Ray. Thank you for joining me here at Break the Dish, where we break the news and dish out the tea. How are you, my breakers? I know what you're about to say. Cece, why are you doing this recap late? I'm sorry. I'm going to be honest, it was a busy weekend. My daughter had a game. My other two kids were coming in from college for the weekend. And then I had a funeral out of state. You know how that goes. So it was a little busy. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Forgive me. However, we are getting ready to unpack this week's episode of what? You got it, The Real Housewives of Orange County. Because, honey, listen, Amsterdam brought us tulips and drama. Let's not get it twisted. I mean, from mushroom trips to disturbing social media receipts, which we will get into. But, before we dive in, you know what to do. Make sure you like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, because here we break the dish. We're jumping right in to the recap of The Real Housewives of Ocean County, Season 19, Episode 16. Can you believe it? We're on the 16th episode, and the finale is coming up, and boy, I think it is going to be a doozy. This opened up with Heather Dubrow playing a drug dealer, basically, which is not something I really had on my bingo card when I sat down to watch it. Just let's be real. And Fancy Pants is measuring out truffle mushrooms dosages for the ladies before their trip to the tulip fields. And Gina's the only one that partakes with her, that we know of. And Gina, on her confessional, it was perfect because she said, Heather is the friend that your mom warned you about in high school, but no one would suspect it. I mean, is that not true or what? Heather, being all buttoned up and elegant and all that, you know what I mean? She's literally like dosing this out, which is just too funny. Okay, but then we can talk about, let's talk about how stunning, though, those tulip fields were. I mean, I want to go to Amsterdam, but now I want to make sure I plan the trip around the tulip fields. I'm not joking. I mean, these things were beautiful. The colors, and listen, I'm not really a flower person, to be quite honest, but they were just gorgeous. Gorgeous. And watching Heather and Gina run through these tulip fields that was just amazing to me. I mean, let's be real. Not only are they running through the tulip fields, at one point, Heather is talking about how they look like they have an outline, and she literally bends down and says, "You look like a tulip," to the tulip. Yeah, I loved it, and I was here for it. Let's not get it twisted. Shannon is in the middle of these tulip fields, literally riding a plaster horse. Listen, all you haters out there about Shannon that want to hate, it's fine, but this is Shannon, and I know she hasn't had a strong storyline this season. She's allowed not to have a strong storyline because look what she came off of from last season. But what I do think that we've seen this season in Shannon is really her true personality. I mean, being quirky, being messy. Um, and I do say, when I mean messy, I mean messy. And, you know, but kept to her boundaries, which is good for Shannon, probably. You know what I mean? But anyway, she's riding this plaster horse, and, you know, this is when Gina is starting to bring up some real feelings about Shannon. It's also where we start to see the cracks a little bit. So Gina reveals how hurt she was from last year when she was going through a really difficult time with Travis, and Shannon wasn't there for her. And that resentment is kind of building up now. I know. I know what you're about to say. It sounds familiar, doesn't it? Because a couple seasons ago, Tamara said the same thing. When Eddie was having his heart surgery, Shannon really wasn't there for her, is what she's saying. I think, I could be wrong, but I think I'm kind of like Shannon. If I had a friend who say his husband's going through heart surgery, uh, I would text the morning of, I hope everything goes well, keep me posted. I'd probably text in the afternoon, how did everything go? But I'm not going to be calling every 5 seconds checking on them because I'm thinking they need their space right now. And when they want to call me and let me know what's going on, they will. That's how I see it. I could be wrong, but that's just how I see it. And this ties directly into her frustration about Shannon throwing Jen that bridal luncheon is what's going on here. Because Gina's like, where's my celebration when my family got back together? You know, valid. Okay, valid. But, you know, I don't know. I don't think that Shannon really thought that putting a lunch, I just think she wanted to do something nice for Jen. Matter of fact, I think she even said that. So, all right, everybody, all the ladies are at lunch, and this is when things start heating up, people. So the ladies start questioning whether Jen and Shannon's relationship is even real. Okay. Emily and Gina, you know how they are. They tag team each other. And, they had some points. The whole, Alexis wedding situation was messy. Jen told Tamra, okay, and Emily that she wasn't going to Alexis Bellino's wedding because Shannon asked her not to. Now, this is what she told them, okay? But Shannon's version is completely different. She says she never told Jen not to go. Matter of fact, she was getting a different vibe from Jen. And then Gina flat out asked Jen, at the lunch, like, all about it, But Jen defends Shannon, okay? She says she did not ask me to go. Did I just say that right? She didn't not ask me to go. But she chose not to because of Shannon and her relationship. And then Emily, of course, she's got to keep stirring pot. She will not let things go. And she asked Shannon, how do you feel about Jen being friends with Alexis? And Shannon basically says, look, I can't be close to anyone who is tight with a person who has hurt me so badly, which I think is fair. That's those boundaries I was just talking about with Shannon. Shannon's been through a lot with John and Alexis. Last season was not easy. We saw it with our own two eyes. But Gina, who you have to remember at this lunch, is flying on mushrooms here. She tells Shannon that Jen didn't even want the bridal luncheon and that it was ridiculous. And Shannon's face was priceless. I mean, she was like, what? Huh? Hmm? And But also, here's where, Mushroom Gina here, enters the chat and drops a bomb. So then Gina, uh, besides telling Shannon that, the bridal luncheon was ridiculous, uh, and they also give you like a flashback. I want to tell you that just in case you didn't see it, that, 2 weeks earlier, Jen literally was saying to Gina, like, why is Shannon giving me a bridal luncheon? And, they're both like, why? Why? And so that kind of stung Shannon, to be quite honest. But what really got me is when Gina called Shannon and Jen's friendship fake, and the word landed hard, let's put it that way. And Shannon finally gets to confront Gina about, well, Gina confronting Shannon, that is, about not being there. And, she's like, my family came back together this year. And maybe that's something to celebrate, and you can hear, like, I don't know who's talking in the luncheon, but they're like, she wants a party, which brings us full circle to, the earlier hurt. And then Emily now is explaining to Jen that the problem isn't just about, the party. Is that the other ladies feel as though Jen and Shannon, their relationship is not authentic, because Jen just agrees with everything Shannon says. Now, I know what you're about to say too. This is a recurring theme with Shannon, supposedly, because we've seen this pattern before where people feel like you have to be Team Shannon or you're out. But I think it's different this time. I think it just has to do with those boundaries after what happened last season. And it also raises the question, is Jen being genuine? Or is she just playing along to stay in, Shannon's good graces, So, now all these lovely ladies go to a boat jacuzzi. I'm not sure how I feel about this. I mean, I love to be on a boat, don't get it twisted. But to be in the jacuzzi the whole time going down the river, I might be in, to be honest. I might be in for it. But Emily does this like strategic move of trying to get Tamra and Gretchen to talk. And she's saying this is like the last time. This is it. Like when they come back, she washes her hands of it basically. And, Emily is trying to be the peacemaker. I don't know why she feels like she has to be, but that's the role she's playing. And listen, when they're going down, they're floating down. I give credit where credit's due. Gretchen is trying. She started out with like an apology saying, I messed up. I feel really bad about what I said in LA. And Tamara like is immediately calling her out with, well, what's up with the, I know you probably won't be receptive to this, because she said that before she started apologizing. And it's a fair point, but Gretchen explains that she and Slade showed up to Emily's fundraiser because they heard Tamra was spreading rumors about Slade. That's why they tried to approach her there. Which justifies nothing, by the way. The whole bitch walk away. Remember that. But Emily is still pushing for them to acknowledge the fact that they both keep pouring gasoline on this fire, And I do think that that's when Gretchen honestly had a breakthrough. She admits she was wrong. She felt that she was justified at times, but recognizes now that she might have been escalating the things instead of, taking the high road, basically. And Tamra says to her, like, that's the best thing you've ever said to me, you know. So when they get back for a moment there, you think they're getting ready to turn that corner, right? No, no. Mm-mm. So before dinner, Jen finds Gretchen crying, and she's sobbing actually, and she's got all these emotions from the past kind of like resurfacing, and you know, this definitely felt genuine, to be honest. Whether you think that Gretchen is an honest person or not, this moment really felt genuine. And you could see that she was processing through something. Let's just put it that way. So at dinner, she apologizes to Tamra yet again. Um, and Tamra's like, well, she's saying to Tamra that these painful feelings just don't like disappear. And Tamra's response is basically like letting go means not bringing up the past. They had a, you know, they both agreed not to do that. And then not even a week later, Gretchen, what does she do? She broke that pact. And so I understand why Tamra's like that, but let's be real. Tamra kind of brought all this on herself. Uh, so let's talk now. Okay. This is the elephant in the room, basically. The next morning, Gina and Emily are basically talking about Gretchen being so emotional, right, at dinner. And Gina drops a bombshell again that 2 weeks earlier, Tamra showed her some disturbing social media posts that allegedly Gretchen liked. Now, we're talking homophobic, transphobic content, okay? This is kind of serious. In the flashback, they are showing you Tamra, Gina, and Emily looking at these posts, and Gina's first instinct is like, could they have been doctored? Well, yeah, they could have been. Absolutely. And she's also saying, like, I have a hard time believing that that's who Gretchen is. She's like, she's a 40-year-old woman that wears a bow, for crying out loud. And I get it, and it's jarring to reconcile someone with hateful content that they've engaged online. I also have to say, look who's bringing it to the group here. I'm just saying, it would not be the first time that Tamra has done something like this. I'm just saying, you know? So Emily asks, if she's going to tell Heather, and Gina hesitates because, it's real. It's a raw topic for Heather, especially because she's such a strong advocate for the LGBTQ community. And she says, how can Gretchen be launching hate campaigns on people? It just contradicts everything that Gretchen was saying about growth and healing and all this, and I think the bottom line is that she's going to tell Heather. I mean, Gina's definitely going to tell Heather for sure, because we see this in the coming previews. And I have to say, I don't know. I'm not sold on it yet, to be quite honest. The whole Gretchen Tamra situation, because, yeah, they made peace, but then Tamra's bringing this whole social media revelation to the surface. I'm not quite sure about Jenn and Shannon, that whole dynamic. I mean, at lunch, everyone's questioning them, and then they're going when they go to dinner, like these two are like playing Laverne and Shirley out in the streets. So I'm pretty sure their relationship is fine. But when it comes to these posts, yeah, it could have been faked. A little birdie told me that when the person or non-person, um, when they created these posts, that's the only post they ever created. Think about that. And Gretchen liked it. I'm not convinced about that. I mean, she's an advocate of the LGBTQ community too. Like, I just don't see it. I could be wrong, but I just don't see it. And we see in the preview coming up that this finale is going to be explosive. You know what I mean? Definitely explosive. So what do you think? I mean, are you Team Tamara or Team Gretchen? That's really what it's going to boil down to. Are you going to believe Tamara bringing these posts to the group saying it's real, or are you going to believe Gretchen, who says I would never do that? I mean, think about it. Let me know. Are you Team Tamara or Team Gretchen? Make sure you comment down below. I love to hear from you. And our time is up. Have a great day. And don't forget us here at Break the Dish.